Jesse. He's.
I was just wondering if we had a cord loose or something. That makes total sense.
That's from that. Sunday, that's you go through your funds. I think it's good what happened. Son. It's a 59. It's like, we're gonna cut off the chicken. It's like I think he's.
Got 9 o'clock, we can call the meeting to order, start with the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mochler.
Here.
Graylow.
Here.
Brady.
Here.
Easy.
Here.
Gilbertson.
Here. Approve agenda. So, second. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All same sign, motion passes. Any conflict of interest declarations? Hearing none, approve minutes for the January 20th meeting.
So moved.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, motion passes. Visitors we heard that aren't on the agenda.
Good, John.
Just
Speed, my speeds.
your name and your address, and then you can
Mr. John, 46169 Timber Road, Vermillion, South Dakota. Lifelong resident of Vermillion.
then wherever you want to start.
First thing on our agenda, we need to talk about cutting. We never talk about reducing costs. We just talk about spending and giving. I don't know that, but we need to bring it up. It's throughout the nation, throughout the state of South Dakota. It's up in legislature. The cost, talk how we're gonna reduce spending. Our taxes are out of hands. We just keep going up, going up. The evaluations, it's easy to evaluate and take someone else's money. I built a house for $250,000 and at 477 in 10 years. I could afford a $250,000 house. I didn't build a $500,000 house. That's my piece.
Thanks. Any other visitors?
Hi, Charlie Stead. I'm out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Just here for the bid letting.
Oh, okay. Any other visitors that don't appear on the agenda? Hearing none. Oh, is somebody here from East River? Will they come?
I'm there on Zoom.
They are on Zoom. So the East River Electric franchising rule. Okay,
Sometimes you just want to file before plat's done, but. Dre Wire with East River Electric.
so this is a franchise contract for 20 years. Is there new construction planned on this?
No, there was probably on my behalf a misunderstanding. We don't have any projects in the next year planned in Clay County, but that map that was provided are all our existing current lines in Clay County. I did talk with a representative from Northern Gas, I believe, and so we got that straightened out. But yeah, these are all existing. We're just asking to do business in Clay County for another 20 years. Just continue our February 14th, 2006, our last franchise agreement.
It looked like there've been two previous agreements, so this is a renewal, so there was a 20 years started in 85, and another 20 years started in 2006, and this is just basically a continuation of the same agreement we've had in place.
Correct.
So with this agreement, do you still have to come tell us if it's gonna be a new construction, or does this give you permission to just go ahead with the project? I couldn't see where it would spell that out in the contract.
It seemed to authorize any new construction that they feel is fit by my reading. So
Is that correct or not?
If we, and I apologize, I didn't read all your ordinances, but if we're to build a substation, I'm fairly confident that'll be a conditional use. So that would have to go through the conditional use building permit process. As far as our lines, I believe transmission lines are a permitted use in Clay County, but I'd have to go check that. I don't know that for certain.
The reason I asked,
But-
is we've got laterals and some of your power lines currently run along them. And some of them were put too close. So that's why hopefully we can have communication if there is a new one gonna go
Yeah,
in.
for sure. If something comes along, I'll be working with, depending on the situation, likely have road crossings. We'll be crossing county roads, so we'll work with their highway soup there. Township roads, we'll be crossing, likely. So we'd be working with the township supervisors, and then also any landowners, we'd be working to acquire easements if we get to a new design layout of a facility or lines. So it shouldn't be a surprise, I'll put it that way, that we'll be working with alongside representation there in Clay County.
Do we have any other questions?
these franchise agreements historically don't appear to involve compensation to the county. Is that correct? There's no monetary transfers to us. Nope. As part of any of these.
I'll move to approve resolution 2026-04. And have the chairman sign. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Carrie.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. So now we've got the bid opening for structure burn repairs and rip scour protection for structure 14-103-090. That's crib sheets, if you want to jot down bids. Should we just pass, or are we not supposed to sign this thing? There's 5 months.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it. What else? Okay, it's gonna take a while. Okay, we got Argo Excavating out of Lexington Springs. Okay, total bid, $202,811.80. Bid bond on that? Yep, or no, that's all attorney. That. Yep, bond number, yep. Comes from Poland, it's waiting. Respond. Total bid, $148,951.55. This one's from Sukup Construction. Bid bond. Total bid, $197,653.05. Pretty digging and trucking. Bid bond. Total bid, $186,926.20. Bid bond on that one? Yes, sir. First rate excavating.
Biggest stack of bids we've seen in a while. Looking for a little work.
Total bid, $258,494. AX Civil and Construction. Bid bond. Total bid, $197,840. This one's from 605 Companies. Bid bond. Total bid, $150,958.05.
This one's from Brock Contracting. Total bid, $171,684. Runge Enterprises. Runge Enterprises. A total bid of $153,046.41. LT Companies. Total bid $181,110. Beamer Construction. Bid bond. Total bid $462,231. WJS Contracting. Bids on. Total bid $170,521.02. Midwest Contracting. Bid bond. Total bid $215,855.55. And we've got Alliance Construction. Bid bond. Total bid $244,110.45. And then Brad with Alltech will take these, review them, make sure they're up to spec. We'll be back in a couple of weeks with it.
Yeah, we have another bid opening in 2 weeks also, so, all right, so I'll be back. See you in a couple of weeks. You'll get a bid, Travis. It'll take me maybe this afternoon or tomorrow. But everyone who gets a bid gets a calculation automatically. I mean, anyone who asks gets one, but I automatically just. And this 14, that's the most that I think I've ever had. Happy for what's in the word. Yeah, they are.
Bit of a spread there too.
That's usual, but that's. I don't.
Anything else, Brad, or is that?
I think that's it. You got
That's
anything
all
with
we
me?
got on there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so we're doing Frog Creek Road and chip seals next week.
Okay.
All right, see everybody.
Thank you. See you later. Rachel.
Great. Did everybody get one of these binders? Are you missing one? Oh, okay. Rachel Gackel with Marsh McLennan Agency. Today we've got all of your renewals, so we'll just kind of try and get through these. The medical, the dental, and the vision all renewed this year, and it is a April 1st renewal date. The other lines, the employer paid life insurance, the employee paid life insurance, and then the short-term disability, which is employer paid, those are all at a rate guarantee for another year. However, we did obtain some quotes, so there is some cost savings available there. And then I think, Thierry, you've had maybe some frustrations with the billing with the standard. So we're just kind of reviewing that as well proactively. Okay, so if you go to behind that medical renewal tab, tab 1, this would be your Wellmark renewal. They came in at a 3% increase this year. So medical trend, just kind of for your guys' perspective, medical trend, so pharmacy and medical combined is about 8%. So you guys are, your renewal is well under trend. How this underwriting sheet works is the base pool increase for Wellmark for all employers that are in that 51 to 100 size. They start them at a 1.5%. Clay County did get dinged 5.5 points for underwriting and group considerations. So you do have some high cost claimants that we'll talk about briefly in a little bit, just high level. You got 0.13 positive with your demographics. So that's that age, gender, contract type. In general, the carriers like to see children on the plan. They typically have less claims. A lot of it's just wellness exams. And so you actually saved 3.2% because of the family composition that you have. So that's how they get to that 3%. Okay. If you go to the next page, this is just our fully insured summary dashboard. We're looking at 3 years worth of experience period. Period 3 on the right, that is the most recent. You'll notice that this is a rolling 12 months of claims. The last one reported was December 31st. Just the points to kind of that are going to be most important to you guys, I highlighted in yellow. Your subscriber count, so that's the number of contracts, increased by 2% last year. Members, which would be total people on the plan, increased by 3%. Your medical and pharmacy claims for the most recent experience period was 718,000. You'll notice prior to that it was 776, so it has gone down a little bit, 10%. And then loss ratio, that plays a big part in your underwriting as well. So the target loss ratio for the carriers is 85%. So when you think of every dollar of premium paid, ideally 85 cents or less would go towards paying claims. The 15 cents remaining would go towards Wellmark's, admin and their service fee and all of that. Yep. So you guys, your current loss ratio is 91%. So you're still a little hot, but certainly compared to last year at 106% and then 92% the previous year, things are looking better. Okay. So you do currently have 4 high cost claimants that are over $50,000 each. One of them is about $85,000, and your claims are mostly driven by pharmacy, which is not out of the ordinary. We've seen, what used to be when it came to total claims, 30% was medical, 70% was medical, 30% was pharmacy. We're starting to see it go more like 50-50 with the cost of prescriptions increasing and a lot of specialty drugs, specialty medications. Okay. So the next page is going to look a little bit different, specifically the loss ratio, because on this page, we're actually looking at plan year versus rolling year in the previous slide. So we just have claims from 4 of 2025 to 12 of 2025, but there you can kind of see how the months, vary with claim costs. Okay, so you had kind of that April 1st spike to 124%, then it dropped down for a couple months, a spike again in August, a spike again in October. Typically, those specialty drugs are, every quarter or every couple of months, and so I assume that that's because of that. Next page, and you guys can stop me at any time if you have questions.
So I just want to make sure I got
Yeah.
the orange and the blue here, so the.
Yes.
So the 516,833, that's the premiums that they took in.
So the blue is the amount of money that Clay County is paying Wellmark
Oh, that's
in
what we paid
premium.
in. That's-
Yep, you have it
that's
flipped.
Sorry,
Yep,
thank you.
you have it flipped. Yeah, orange would be the total claims.
Correct.
So we're hitting 85% in those.
During that, yeah, during your.
Yep.
But you don't have a full 12 months of data. Yeah, so if things continue to run, it could be really favorable next year. Next page, so try to make things color coordinated, knowing I can't sit next to and point at everything, but the blue is your current plan, that's that $1,500 deductible. It received a 3% from Wellmark, so if you go to the bottom, you'll see the current versus the renewal rates. That vertical blue, dark blue line, that is the number of contracts you have per tier. So you've got 38 single contracts, 3 employee spouse, 9 employee children, and 7 family. And then we did proactively quote as well the next deductible up. So if you wanted to increase that individual deductible up to 2,000, you would actually save 4.5%. A couple of things though that, I'll state the obvious here, but the employee's deductible does go up by 500, the family goes up by 1,500. Co-pays do go up as well. So right now, primary care is 25, it would go up to 30. Specialist is 50, it would go up to 60. Emergency room would go from 300 to 350, and then they would see an increase in their pharmacy prescriptions as well. It's easy for me to say being on this side of the table, but I typically recommend an employer making a deductible move when they have a substantial increase that's over trend and we need to shave costs. So that's just my 2 cents.
So I was pretty happy to see 3%, actually. I was a little concerned that it's gonna be a lot higher.
Yeah,
So,
what did you guys budget this year? 10, okay. So this is just total premium, which isn't super helpful to you. If you go to the next page, this is our cost and contribution analysis. So this is going to show you what the employer cost share is compared to the employee. So this is a status quo scenario. So we're applying the same contribution percentages with the same plan. So to kind of acclimate you, on the left side, medical plan 1, that is all your current April 1, 2025 plan information. So we have the number of contracts, the rates. Right now, the employee doesn't pay anything for single coverage. And then for employee spouse, Clay County pays 75%. Employee children, they pay 77%. Family, they pay 67%. So that's that light blue column there. And then what we did is we applied, assuming the same contract types, we added in those new renewal rates. We applied the same employer contributions. And again, if you did it completely status quo, the employer, so Clay County's annual increase would be $22,579. The employee's increase would be less than $4,000. So the light yellow is going to show you the cost difference per month. EE is employee, ER is employer, and then the orange would be the monthly and the annual total differences. The next page is looking at that alternate, that $2,000 alternate. So that, again, we don't have to spend a ton of time on that, but with that 4.5% savings, Clay County saves $33,000 and the employee saves almost $6,000. I do think that there's some opportunity if we move the ancillary, the dental, vision, disability, all of that, to save some money there and help with that increase on that 15. Any questions on the medical piece of it?
The deductible on the first one, 500.
1,500. Yep, the current plan has that.
But we've got a reimbursement policy for.
Yes, so this does not include that $500 deductible as well. Yep, just because we have no way of knowing how many people have.
I think on a normal year, it's probably less than 10. Sometimes only 5.
Right, so if you go to the next section, that's going to be those ancillary renewals. So first up is dental. The standard proposed a 5% increase. I will say the dental market has gotten, very expensive. We're seeing year over year trend increases anywhere from 8 to 11%. So 5% is still under trend, but we do have some good opportunities here to save money. So this one here is completely employee paid. And so with this one, with Principal, there's, an opportunity for 5% savings, Mutual of Omaha, 10% savings, Equitable, 14% savings. I have already gone back to Principal and Mutual of Omaha as well to see if they can sharpen their pencil. Full disclosure, Equitable, I do not have a lot of business with them. They're certainly not as large as Mutual of Omaha and Principal. I think that they would do a fine job of taking care of Clay County and the employees, but just to kind of give you that perspective. Okay, I highlighted the plan differences. So you'll notice in the top section right now, the calendar maximum per individual on the plan is $1,200. Mutual of Omaha is slightly higher at $1,250. Equitable is $1,450. So, it's a richer annual max, more money for people to play with for dental expenses. The one thing Equitable does not have that is a bummer is they do not have a carryover program. So what the carryover program means is in the event I don't use all of my annual maximum, I can carry over up to $600 with Principal, up to $250 with Mutual of Omaha. So that if I do have a year with a lot of dental claims, I actually have more than just my annual maximum.
And then just to make sure that I'm understanding correctly, so kind of the opposite of an out-of-pocket maximum, these are like the most that the insurance will put forward.
Correct.
Right? So,
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
And one question I would have, so we've got the 90th percentile, it looks like, for coverage. So do we know that so we've got just a few dentists here in town, and I'm sure everybody or almost everybody wants to go to one of them. Are they all covered by all these plans?
So we can run a provider report on those zip codes. How dental works is it's different from medical insurance, where medical insurance, you have to stay in network. If you go out of network, it often costs double, or sometimes it's not even covered at all. What that 90th usual and customary means is that each of these carriers are going to reimburse any dentist that you choose based off of what 9 out of 10 of their peers in this area charge.
Okay.
Yep, so if it's, $100 for a cleaning, they're gonna pay $100 to any dentist. You can truly go to whomever you want. The only caveat to that is if I go to an out-of-network dentist that, let's say, they charge $105 for an exam, I might be on the hook for that $5 balance.
Thank you for that.
Yep. So that is the dental. Next is the vision. This is also an employee paid line of coverage. And again, there's significant savings between the 3 carriers. The one thing worth noting, Mutual of Omaha would be a network change. So it would be moving from VSP to IMED. IMED is also a very rich network. It's going to be more of your kind of big box retailers though. Think of your Costco, Target, Walmart. They do have independent providers as well. I have IMED. I haven't had any issues, in Sioux Falls finding somebody. They do have a richer materials copay. So if I go to an eye exam, I'm going to pay a $10 copay. In the event that I need glasses or contact lenses, that's where that materials copay applies. So I would pay $10 or $25 depending on the carrier. The other nice thing about IMED, and again, you have to decide if it's worth switching networks, but currently the frequency is every 12 months they get an eye exam. Every 12 months, they get new contact lenses or eyeglass lenses. And then every 24 months, they get new frames. With IMED, it's new eyeglasses every 12 months. So they get new glass, that allowance towards new eyeglasses, it's up to $150 every year versus waiting every 2 years. So I don't know what you think as far as the network disruption. And again, we could do a provider search.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure honestly that a network disruption would be like that big of an impact. I've heard of IMED, I've heard of VSP,
Yep.
I think they're both pretty popular.
But the cost is a little higher with that one.
With IMED it is.
Yes, with IMED, and again, I went back to Mutual of Omaha to see if they could come down on that. From an administrative perspective, it is easier to have all of those lines of coverage under one carrier versus saying, let's do Mutual of Omaha for this, let's do the standard for this. So I do have kind of some numbers of total premium savings that we can review here in a minute.
Rachel, on
Yeah.
that frequency again,
Yep.
what is IMED not doing?
So IMED allows you to have that $150 frame allowance every single year, whereas the other three only give it to you every 2 years. So the
Oh.
only difference would be the frame allowance.
But were you asking about why there's 3 numbers listed instead of 4?
Cause it's the frames.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
so the frames are just not listed, okay.
yeah.
And all those other ones indicate it's every 12 months?
Every 24 months for the frames.
For the frames.
For the frames.
Okay.
Eyeglass lenses or contact lenses is every 12 months for all 4 plans.
Okay,
And currently you have 24 single contracts, 6 employee spouse, 3 employee children, 5 family contracts. Where I get a little bit nervous when you have carriers coming in 35% under current is I get a little nervous about them buying your business and then having to recoup it 2 years down the road when the rate guarantee wears off. So just kind of be mindful of that too, that price savings are great, but you want it to be sustainable for people.
Well, if they did that, then we just switch, which is a pain.
Right, then you're quoting every couple of years.
Yeah.
Yep. Any questions on the vision? Okay, the next couple are the employer paid lines of coverage. Excuse me, so this one is not renewing this year. It isn't a rate guarantee until next year. However, we quoted it all. So this is for a $15,000 employer paid life insurance. How this one works is in the event somebody passes away, they would or their beneficiary would receive $15,000 of life insurance. It also includes accidental death and dismemberment. So in the event somebody passes away as the result of a legal covered accident, for example, a car accident, the beneficiary would receive the $15,000 of life insurance, but then an additional $15,000 of accidental death. Okay. So with this one, again, you're seeing significant savings with Equitable, Mutual of Omaha, and those are all 24-month rate guarantees, so they wouldn't renew until 2028. And then you've got 64 covered employees on the life insurance plan.
But this one won't change till next year, like you said.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. The next one is employee paid. This is that voluntary life insurance. So in the event that they wanted to purchase, additional insurance on top of that 15,000, they could. Again, looking at kind of those highlighted pieces, Equitable, the employee guaranteed issue amount is $50,000 less. So what that means is if you have a newly eligible employee, they have that one-time opportunity to elect up to the guaranteed issue amount without having to fill out any medical information. So in this scenario with Equitable, they would only be allowed to elect up to $100,000 before having to fill out medical information. Equitable also has the same spouse guaranteed issue amount, which is currently $15,000 with the standard. Both Principal and Mutual of Omaha allow up to $30,000. That would be an enhancement for people. And then conversion and portability, just noting there the differences. Your current standard plan is not portable, meaning if I were to leave Clay County, I could take my life insurance with me. That's not currently allowed, whereas with Principal and Equitable, it is. Okay,
I thought it's excluded on principal.
For conversion.
Oh, conversion,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah. All of the carriers basically quoted to match the rates. Principal does have a different rate for the 75 plus. Whereas the others, once they hit 75 plus, it increases. At that point, I would imagine most people are retired. I don't know if that it would affect very many people, but otherwise, no cost savings on this one. They're all quoted to match the same. The last line of coverage to discuss today is the short-term disability. So this one is employer paid. Again, this isn't a rate guarantee, so no change for 2027. But savings available through Principal, Mutual of Omaha, and Equitable. These are all quoted to match exactly, so there are no plan changes or anything like that worth noting. Turn this back on here. So in summary, as far as employer paid, Principal would save $957 a year. Mutual of Omaha, and again, this is, without revisions to the quotes, but Mutual of Omaha would save $7,062 to the employer. And these are just numbers I ran, so I can share them with Carrie, but Equitable would save $10,850. And then from the employee perspective, Principal, the employees would save $4,800 a year. Mutual of Omaha is about $5,500 per year. Equitable is $8,000 per year. So if you're looking purely at cost, Equitable is the clear winner there. Mutual of Omaha would be coming in second. So I know you guys have another meeting. Is it next Tuesday already?
No,
2 weeks, 2 weeks. Okay. So, based off of this information, if you feel like you have what you need to make decisions, otherwise, again, if you want us, if it's based off of pricing, Equitable is obviously the clear winner, but if you're curious in what Principal and Mutual of Omaha can come down on, we can easily have that information for you by the next meeting. I don't know how that plays into you getting open enrollment done and all of that, but I think we can still manage.
Please run through those numbers. Maybe.
Yes, yep.
That was on, what was that on, Jim?
So
But yeah,
this
that's
is
what
for
we're
all
doing.
of the employer paid lines of coverage. You want
Okay.
employer and employee or one or the other?
Equitable one on both, right?
Yeah,
Should you start with the medical? That the one?
so medical, that would be, if you're renewing that one as is and keeping the contributions the same, your cost would increase $22,579 for the year.
The 3%.
Yep. Yep. And then for the employee paid lines of coverage, the dental vision, Principal is saving $4,840. And again, this is all assuming the same enrollment, so it is subject to change if somebody switches contract type. Mutual of Omaha would save $5,531. And then Equitable would save $8,073. So that's total employee savings. For employer, the total savings for Principal is $957 per year. Mutual of Omaha is $7,062. And Equitable is $10,850.
And so we will always do like vision, dental, and the disabilities all through one company. You get it like as one package, is that, because you're totaling all these together rather than a la carte things.
Right. I would say from an employee experience, then they have one carrier to remember. Regardless of whether they're going to the dentist office or a vision appointment, they can say that they have Equitable or Mutual of Omaha. And then most importantly, from an administrative perspective,
Yeah.
Carrie has one portal to go into.
Carrie's time is very
One bill,
precious.
yeah. Yeah, so it's administratively easier to have it with the carrier.
And did you have some challenges with standard? Is that what I was hearing?
Oh, yeah.
They're kind of known to have some billing issues the last few
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, it's from days about their billing, but
And so several of these we have rate guarantees. Does that mean that we have a signed contract through the term of that, or that we have a guaranteed price that we can sign on?
Guaranteed price, so
So
you
we
could
are not
decide to
locked
quote
into
it
a
next
contract.
year, yep, you are not obligated to stay with them for that amount of time, it's, they're committing to holding the rates for that amount of time, yep.
So it's just the dental, vision, and medical, we've got to decide on them.
Right, unless you're moving away from the standard.
Right.
selfishly recommend that you choose one of the other companies. But I'll work with whatever.
Well, it's like,
We've just really had a lot of billing issues and it's so frustrating.
well, and savings in every one of these categories with those other companies too. So it's hard for me to know why we would build it so loyal to a place that isn't treating us well and is charging us more than anybody else. So.
Yeah.
And our medical still gonna be Blue Cross,
Yes,
no matter what.
the medical insurance would renew, same plan, just the 3% change in the rates. And with us keeping the percentage amounts the same, you are sharing the increase with the employees. Yep. Except the employee contract, right? You're paying 100% of that, so.
So you shared that Standard kind of has a reputation for being hard to deal with. So do you have reputations on some of these, on the other companies? I don't deal with them all that often, so.
Yeah, like I shared with you, Equitable, I have other, what am I trying to say? Other consultants that I work with that have worked with Equitable and have good things to say about them. They're a Midwest company, so they say they offer Midwest type service, which I think is a great thing, obviously. I just don't have a ton of experience with them. Mutual of Omaha, Principal are both great carriers, very reputable. I could text them and get exactly what I need. I'm sure I could do the same with the Equitable as well, just need that established relationship. So, as far as like billing issues, customer service, in my experience with Mutual of Omaha and Principal, there are no issues that are not resolvable very quickly.
So on the dental, how important is that carryover program? Because I see there's a difference between 600 with Principal.
Yeah.
250 with Mutual of Omaha.
Yeah.
Is
Well,
that-
what I would say is right now, people have the 350. I don't know how many people are actually even using it. But you know, using that dental benefit.
Or using it.
Right, well, yeah, you would hope. So, you know, the up to 600 is a nice to have. I do think, you know, you got a 5% increase on dental. The trend is more like 9 to 11. That tells me people are not using the benefit as much. And so they're probably using that carryover, or I should say receiving that carryover. So to not get that, they might feel that in the event that they actually have, you know, a year where they need a crown or a root canal or something like that. That's where you really feel the cost of the dental care or a couple fillings. So,
The reason I asked is because it looks like the vision with Mutual of Omaha would be the plan to go with. And to keep it simple.
Yeah.
Just keep the dental with Mutual of Omaha too, but that seems to be the big
They
difference.
still have carryover, though, didn't they? Mutual.
yes, they have
Yeah.
250.
There's a 600.
Yeah, there was some.
They're pretty comparable. Yep. The other thing about Mutual of Omaha is they get an additional $50, so it kind of almost makes up for that carryover. You know, the annual maximum they receive with Mutual of Omaha is 1,250. Right now it's 1,200. So then that carryover, you know, kind of helps with that being a little bit under. And then vision, so long as you don't see issues with there being a network change. That is a richer plan to have that 12/12 contract. Or frequency, I should say.
Can you figure out the network for us?
Yeah, run a zip code report?
Yeah.
Yep, I can do that.
Because it looks like, to me, the Mutual of Omaha is the way to go.
The biggest cost is exactly.
Do they have it on their
Yes.
website?
It is.
Do they have it on their website where it's just kind of readily
It
available?
should be, yep. If you go to, like the IMED website.
Oh,
These assignment providers. I was texting with the Mutual of Omaha rep here this morning and asked him, you know, if they can revisit that. Let's see. So for the basic life insurance, the rate, they can go to a 0.15, which is kind of meeting halfway in the middle. But if you go to the life insurance, that's slide 13. I mean, but it's not that I'm choosing here then. So it's nothing. That's a, yeah. That's it. We have 39 in-network vision providers with IMED.
Ours here in town are, Prairie Eye Clinic and the Vision Care Associates, Pierceburg, Yankton,
With Mutual of Omaha.
Yes, with the IMED network.
yeah. Yep, our local ones are in network, and then there's a bunch like Yankton, North Sioux City,
That's 30-mile
Pierceburg.
radius maybe.
I just want to find
Filter.
I would assume there's something in Sioux Falls that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm
By
sure.
the time you get to braces.
Yes.
or Wisdom teeth or.
Yep. Yeah.
things like that. There.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I hate to revisit this, I'm sorry,
You're
but so on the vision page on 12, so you've got your frequency, exam, lenses, frames, contacts, right? You've got 4 different categories.
Yep.
And so like under the standard, is that every 12 months, every 12 months, every 24 months, every 12 months? Am I interpreting those numbers correctly?
So what the 12, 12, 24 is
Yeah.
you get your vision exam, that's the first
Yeah.
12 every 12 months. The next is new eyeglass lenses or contact lenses, that's that 12 in the middle and then 12 at the end. And then new frames every 24
Okay,
months.
and so then I just wanted to then make
So
sure
on
that I
IMED, we
understood.
probably missed a 12 at the end there.
Okay, but
Yeah.
there's not one of those categories that is
That's
not
removed,
covered?
no,
Okay,
no.
I just wanted to
Yeah.
verify that I wasn't.
Yeah.
missing anything. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha, thank you.
So you're gonna make me do math and I'm terrible at math, so let's see here.
It doesn't look like it from this spreadsheet.
Well, that's what Excel is for. Okay, so they can go down to 0.15. So let's do this. 50%.
That's on the life insurance.
Wait, what? Oh, then.
They can go down to 0.15 instead of right now, they're at 0.18. So they'll kind of meet halfway. Equitable's at 0.12. So you'll see some more savings there as well.
What is that number representing? I'm sorry.
So that's the life rate per $1,000 of coverage.
Gotcha.
So how they calculate it is that estimated life volume, that 954,750.
Yeah,
That's based off of $15,000 times 64 employees covered.
okay. Thank
And
you.
then you do the, per $1,000
So instead
rate.
of that number,
Yep,
they're willing to go to 0.15.
okay.
Yep.
All right.
And then, on the short-term disability, so that's 2 pages down.
Back to the life insurance, do you
Yeah.
have anybody taking it?
Huh?
We did take that.
The one we're talking about that's going to 0.15, that's what Clay County is paying, so all eligible employees
Well,
are
that's what we're
receiving
paying.
that.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
we do have some that are taking the optional.
So additional?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next page then. Or I'm sorry, 2 down, the short-term disability, right now, Mutual of Omaha quoted a 0.320 per $10 of covered payroll. And that one there is 0.32. Mutual said they can go down to 0.29.
And this one is all employer paid?
Yeah.
Just looking at disability, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the employee cost savings is within a couple $1,000. The employer paid is where we kind of saw that bigger deficit.
But we're already locked in for another year. Well, in the short term.
We're not locked in, right? We just have a guaranteed rate.
The rates are guaranteed,
Oh,
yeah.
so we can jump ship.
Yes, you are not obligated with any of these carriers to stay with them for that time period, yep.
Yeah, I thought that at first.
That's what I was looking at, the rate guarantee.
They're like, why are we even talking about this?
Yeah.
Yep.
Carry is that?
Which one? went down?
The carryover,
So this
is that an issue for some people?
0.2.
Or is that those amounts?
The 600 versus the. I don't know, I think where you might see it is if they have a really good year. And then they have a year where they need some dental work done. That might be where they would notice that difference.
It seems like it doesn't take much at all, beyond your 2 cleanings a year. But you should be using that, I would think. I can't imagine people carrying.
Yeah, it would be
Carry
more
over.
like, fillings and crowns and things like that, where they might see that carryover difference.
And the thing about the carryover is that's the max excess you can have in your account. So it's not like if I have 3 great years, all of a sudden I've carried over $1,800. It's truly like, that's the max excess you can
After 1
have.
year, you get up to 1,800, and then if you don't use it,
You don't get to carry over anything, yeah.
It seems like what you're saving there, that 14%. Worth it not to worry about that carryover, but
In theory, a person could save that 14% and then,
Yeah.
over time, have it just in a separate little pot. People choose,
Good.
are disciplined
Yeah.
to do that on their own, yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Personally, the way biggest bang for the buck is to go equitable, but is it
And we're not paying for that part on dental. It's all employee.
right?
But your cost would be, or your savings, I should say, with Equitable is $10,850. The savings with Mutual Omaha after their adjustments be closer to 8 or 9. Just don't have that formula. Again, I just have more experience with Mutual Omaha, so I'm partial to them, but that's easy for me to say because I don't write the checks, so.
Standard and Poor's ratings and all that, they're all like A+, aren't they?
What's that?
Like Standard and Poor rating and all that, they're solvent. They're all good.
Yes. Yeah.
Good question to be asking insurance companies these days. I think things are getting a little kooky. Yeah.
Especially on the business insurance side, yeah.
I was getting a little nervous, like you said, when they come in that much cheaper. And even not compared to what we're paying, but even compared to Mutual Omaha.
Yeah.
Or Principal. And they're 20% cheaper on vision. than Mutual Omaha, it's just.
Yeah.
Why?
You're not locked into it
Right.
for a year. So
That could be a
try
nightmare,
it for a year to try to save some money.
but that could be a nightmare. Well, this is for the employees. We don't pay any of that.
For
But
the vision,
but it's a nightmare to say you're paying for it and you don't get the service you're paying for. That's more expensive.
It should be in the policy. They should give you the
Yeah,
what's there, correct?
You know how insurance companies.
I'm sure Standard told us that they were gonna do everything right.
We never talking about saving money again.
Yeah, I know, but,
Okay.
but it's more expensive if it doesn't work.
then you have
It's
disruption,
big.
then you have disruption for a network 2 years in a row as well, right? Right now you're with VSP. If you move to IMED and then, to then move to VSP next year, like, that's not a good member experience either, to be swapping back and forth, so. You do, to a degree as well, lose credibility with the carriers if they see you coming on, you know, they see your folder coming across their table every couple of years or every year, if you're shopping it all the time. You know, they're not gonna take your quote as seriously as well, so. You know, the intent here was to quote it because the standard is not holding up to their end of the bargain. They are not a good partner when it comes to billing and other things. And so wanting to create kind of those long-term sustainable relationships so that it benefits the employer and the employee. If you guys need to sit on it, I can absolutely come back in a couple of weeks. Okay. By then I'll have,
Everybody's gonna think about it.
I'd like to table it, look at it some
Yep.
more.
by then I'll have an updated quote for you as well. So
That was the
you can
main thing
take
I
a look
wanted
at
to
everything.
see. I'm
Yeah.
Pretty happy with what we're seeing on the while I'm on here, so I certainly want to hard up.
Yep, absolutely.
Dave should be back. You should be able to get a hard copy then.
Yeah.
You guys wanna decide on the Walmart today or let that go for another 2 weeks? That one's pretty straightforward to me.
I feel that it is, you know, I think that people, we've been happy with it. I feel like there's people that's all right with the 3% increase, and yeah, I'd be inclined to continue, but I think. I watched over in Yankton County when they really tried driving to the bottom, and it makes people pretty unhappy. They jump on the narrow only plan or something like that, but he said.
They have a narrow network.
They want it.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Seen double-digit increases on health insurance and been glad to get that.
Yeah,
So,
Well, and that's honestly where I thought we were headed this year, because there's a lot of, yeah.
Yeah, I budgeted 10. So to get 3 is pretty good. There have been years where I budgeted 15 because things weren't looking so good,
Yeah.
so this is.
yeah, I was very pleased with the Wellmark renewal. Again, it's under trend. Considering your loss ratio has been elevated the last 3 years, you know, for 3 years, you guys have been over 85%. To still get a single digit increase, and a 3% at that is a very favorable renewal.
Well, I'm comfortable making a motion to review the.
With the current plan.
With the current plan.
So the $1,500 deductible.
Yep.
Keep contributions the same and still keep that $500 deductible credit or reimbursement.
So that's 500.
I'll second that. Just talking to 2 different employees at the county appreciation dinner about how valuable our medical is to them. How much better it is than.
You said second.
Yep.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
I
All same sign. Motion passes.
We need that. Move the table, but. Ancillary benefits.
We can.
I'll make the motion, we table the ancillary benefits to the next meeting.
second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same sign. Motion passes. Anything else, Rachel?
No, I'm just taking the date. Thanks, guys.
We got Wayland annual resolution for Wayland.
It's that day, so.
I got it taken care of. Hopefully with the weather coming and stuff, there's some frost is on ground, so maybe again, we won't have to worry about weight limits this year.
That would be fine. So this resolution is,
Just gives Andy the permission to
Yep.
do anything if somebody is.
so it's set at 6 ton on the hard surface roads, 7 ton on gravel roads. And not to exceed 80,000 pounds, no matter how many axles you have.
Yep.
Just like we've had.
Make a motion, we adopt resolution 2026-05 and have that chair sign.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Mochler,
Yes.
Graylow,
Yes.
Brady,
Yes.
Easy,
Yes.
Robertson.
Yes.
Motion passes. Then I need a authorization to send for request for assistance for weight limit enforcement, and this goes to the highway patrol.
I move to authorize the chair to sign.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes. Approval and signature of Frog Creek. Frog Creek and Gulch easement structures 14-070 dash.
You had the bridge inspection first.
Did I miss that one? Oh, okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
bridge inspection.
Bridge inspection resolution. With the DOT.
I think that state with Altair, they seem to be doing pretty good.
Chair signed resolution 2026-06.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Oh, this is the resolution.
Yep.
Roll call.
Mochler,
Yes.
Graylow,
Yes.
Brady,
Yes.
Easy,
Yes.
Robertson.
Yes.
Motion passes. Now we've got the easements.
Alrighty. I think you did a lot of leg and phone work to get all these lined up, so. Can we do them all as a batch, or do we need to do them all individually?
If it's simple, you can do them all together. If it complicated.
It seemed that in the end of every one of these, there was an agreement with the landowner that they understood our plans and that they agreed to provide the easements for, I think it was like $1 of compensation or something nominal like that. So, these are all that we need, and you've got them all lined up, and all the landowners are willing and approve of them and have signed them, right?
That's it.
All right, then I move to authorize approval of Frog Creek Gulch easements, structure 14-070-063, Dawson Bridge easements for structure 14-108-213, and Dakota Street easements for structure 14-117-214.
That's a mouthful. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 All same sign, motion passes.
All right. Remaining grade funds, still got a little. Now, what's the timeline? What's the timeline on those?
Brent, do you
We've
know,
dug
do
so
we have
deep
to
into
have
this.
it
Three more,
committed within what, 4 years or something?
4 years from receiving it, and when we got this last year, or 2 years
I
ago,
believe it's
This is
2024.
2024 monies.
so we got 2 more years.
And we have applications that we have told people we will keep on file. Is that correct? We told the townships that we keep on file.
I forgot those on file.
So we've got those, but last time around, they sure wanted to come and answer some questions, talk to us about need. I remember we went out and did tours and drive, or at least I went out and drove to all of them, checked them out in person, and
And then they didn't pass the money to keep the program going and.
that's right. And it doesn't,
How much more do we have?
24,000.
Yeah, 23.
And there's no motion, like I haven't seen any bills come down to authorize like additional rate funding in this session, have we?
No.
I'm gonna stick my neck out and say I'd be surprised if they do, because an email just went around asking the counties what they had left, and there were a lot of counties that had like hundreds of thousands left.
That's part of the problem, I think, is the formula might not have been well targeted the first
Yeah.
time around. They had been talking about possibly clawing back and redistributing them to counties that need them more, but then there's the argument that, well, these counties have them because they're being more responsible with how they're spending them and stuff like that, but it's
I don't know, we had way more applications than we had funds, and I don't know how these other counties had money left, but
well,
maybe they don't,
yeah,
same situations we do.
every county's different, that's for sure.
We still have 2 years to use that, unless they call it back.
I can't claw it back for 2 more years.
Well, let's say, I think 2024 SB 188 requires funding currently authorized to be spent or obligated no later than June 30th, 2029. So that's just a quick search for the South Dakota Department of Transportation as a layout on rates. So I think if we can rely on that, we've got even a little more time than we may think.
Yeah, because that's 5 years.
Yeah.
They've always pounded 4 into us.
But this was the 2024, I think, amendment with SB 188 out of the 2024 session. They didn't allocate any money since 2022. But this SB 188 in 2024 just says you have to spend or obligate no later than June 30th, 2029.
So without future rate funding, this is kind of peanuts compared to
Oh, yeah.
what we need for most repairs, but. There are a few of them that were a little more minor that might be able to take care of or at least split the cost.
If we can try to allocate them in order to get more projects finished, or, if we are simply accepting the previously submitted applications. I remember one of the challenges last time around was that there's criteria spelled out in the rate law that we weren't really able to follow because we weren't consistent about requiring it in the applications that we got. So the applications are really of different standards, and one avenue that we could approach it with is, asking the townships to buy in. And we could base our awards on, even like percentage, like, well, you guys put up 50% of the project, then we're more likely to fund it, those sorts of questions, but we don't have that data. And I do think we made a commitment to the townships that we would simply accept and work with the applications that they already provided. Is that your recollection as
That's
well?
how I remember it.
So I think it's probably wise if we're gonna try to allocate them out to really do a little work to revisit all of them, because there is a pile. Our last time.
Yeah. Star, Bethel, Pleasant Valley, Garfield have all participated once. So that leaves us Glenwood, Prairie Center, and Spirit Mountain, who've never received any money.
And the amounts have been pretty different, right? Because I mean, I think,
Oh, yeah.
one of them got the largest amount awarded to any project in the whole state.
That's Spirit Mountain got one last time.
I have to go take my notes.
Did we do one for them? I didn't think we really.
I don't think so.
Must have been North Little for them.
Oh, yeah, these are the requests, so these are not the
These are
amounts
the
that have
last-
been funded. I was just like, I feel like one was a lot more than that.
Right.
These are the requests from last year, okay.
Yeah, the big one I think was Garfield was.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Last year Pleasant Valley got one. Maybe Spirit Mountain did get. Can't remember.
Isn't it
I don't think they
East
did.
West Road, or what was that East West Road?
Pleasant Valley Prairie Center with.
Prairie Center.
Prairie Center, Prairie Center, okay.
So that leaves us Glenwood and Spirit Mountain that didn't, have never participated.
I was gonna say, whatever I had in your packet is, so Star, Bethel, Garfield, Pleasant Valley, and Prairie Center. Spirit Mountain has not.
So SDCL 3134, there's 8 laws that govern race specifically. And then when I was talking about SB 188 is codified in 3134.3, it says before the end of the 2029 fiscal year. What Jeffrey was discussing was different requirements, that's criteria for awards. There's 12 enumerated criteria. It also gives the county authority to consider other criteria, but 3134.5 talks about the criteria for award, which we've gone through time and time again as we've dissipated funds. But probably worth writing down and just taking a look as we start contemplating what we're gonna do with the remaining funds. 3134. There's 8 different laws inside 3134, SCCL 31-34. So you should be familiar with those 8 laws, and they're pretty easy to walk through, and I can certainly help as well if you need.
And the state has a good rate. I remember they had a good kind of walkthrough
I think they've got a handbook on it.
handbook
Right.
that is a pretty easy read.
Yeah, I think you're
Relatively.
I remember doing the same. It's just been a year or two.
Reading is worse than Coney shoot.
Yeah, it does look like.
And we don't have to decide that RAFE money today.
I think get it done anyway.
Yeah, I thought there was like a calendar year timeline as well.
There is. There is a.
It has to be by a certain, you award it by a certain date, so then you can hold on to the funds for longer.
It says that I'm on the Department of Transportation again, important annual dates and deadlines. It talks about May 31st. August 1 is when you have to, that's when they distribute it, but that's not happening. August 31st, agencies must submit a 5-year improvement plan. October 31st, must submit funding applications, and January 15th must decide which funding applications to approve.
So we've kind of missed it for this year.
I'm not sure anybody even came to us again, kind of reasserting their desire for funding.
Because there wasn't supposed to be any left. I mean, this is just what the townships that we did award didn't spend.
Yeah, it's remainder, yeah, nice.
Does that mean contacting them and letting them go?
Well, I think that the townships had the hope,
Yeah.
they had the hope that we were gonna get more funding. I mean, I think that the legislators have implied that they're gonna try to direct some more funding to this program, so I think that's part of the reason why I think that they felt they were leaving applications in the hopper. We might be just a little slow on the draw here to get the funds out this year. I'm thinking if we needed to make the awards by January 15th.
Right.
So then do we have to wait till next year?
That's what I want.
Is it? Are those the rules for the new funding year, or is that?
Well, I'm looking at just 31-34-4, and it's applications for use of money. And this is the application process generally. It talks about the 31st. You have to submit to the board your application, and then the money. The award of said money then being no later than the 15th of January. According to just a quick review again of the South Dakota Department of Transportation website on RAFE, on the RAFE program, it says important annual dates and deadlines. I think putting that together makes me believe that it's an annual requirement. Whether, if we were to say we will accept your last year application, you don't need to resubmit, I think that's appropriate, but there hadn't been any conversation with any townships. No township approached the county during the timeframe that, prior to the October 31st deadline. So I would say that the way that the state law reads, my first read of this is that without them asking the county commission to just take their previous application or reapplying separately.
Well, in that meeting though, when we awarded the money, we said we would keep the others on file in case there was extra money. So then,
I still think though, if that's the case, we still have the Board of County Commissioners shall award the money no later than immediately following January 15th. So we've already passed that date.
but is that based on we received money in August like normal? I mean, this isn't new money, this is old money.
I still think it's applicable because I think it's just applications for the use of the money. It's not application for the use of, new received money. I think that the 15th was probably the annual deadline. I don't know if I don't see a carve out or a way to walk around that requirement.
Which is too bad, because it seems like contractors want to do some work and might get people a good deal, We can get it out there, but.
Brent, can you call Greg Barba? And just, not right now, but by next meeting,
Okay.
and ask him about that.
Because I agree, it would be good to get this out, but I also, we should make sure we're following all the rules carefully when especially when it's competitive, and not all the townships got what they could keep up.
But again, we have until the end of June of 2029, so. It's not like this,
Right.
like failing to do it in 2026, we're gonna.
if this is a good bid year, it'd be nice to.
Well, not just that, but these projects need to be done for these townships and
Right.
in other years.
They don't. get
Easy to
cheaper.
say when you don't drive across that road.
Absolutely.
Spirit.
I'll entertain a motion to table the RAIF funds.
I move to table the rate fund discussion to our next meeting.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Alright.
Motion passes. Brent, do you want this back?
Yeah.
Vote on it, but- I vote on it.
I found the handbook, I'll email it out to you guys.
Paver equipment purchase.
No, we ended up, I thought we gave back more, but it ended up being 556,000. The new price on the paper was 575, and then if the trade-in value they'd give us for our old one would be 30,000. So if we was able to take it out of last year's budget, that'd be over 10,000 left. That'd be possible. So
So you gotta be, well, I'll let Carrie talk it.
We can't take it out of last year's budget, but technically the money is still sitting there, so you would have to do a budget supplement in order for him to use that.
And that would affect some of our assumptions about where we stand as far as
End of the year.
end of year and stuff like that. So it's like we were pretty happy about where we were sitting into the year, but part of that might have been a $560,000 equipment purchase. That was still gonna get purchased. So I think then we wanna make sure that our cash position is still workable.
I think,
If we take steps like that.
Because the road and bridge fund is separate from the general fund, I think it'd be fine. Because when we talk, surplus cash at the end of the year, we talk about the general fund,
Okay.
so.
So is 500 and
Road and bridge did have,
that's road and bridge.
yeah, they did have money left at the end of the year.
Okay.
Just his unspent budget essentially stays in that fund, and so. If you decide you want to purchase the paver, then we just need to advertise for a budget supplement hearing to a resolution supplement.
Okay. And so that's true, even though we generally do a transfer from the general fund to the road and bridge fund at the end of the year to make things up, but
And
there,
that's just what we plan for in the budget, basically, yeah.
good deal.
So on these two sales agreements, what is the difference between,
$20,000. 24.
why, what's?
the one was when I requested for last year for the budget, that was the price he gave me. And then,
Oh, okay,
then the prices went down. And so that was the new prices that he just gave me.
Oh,
So we actually saved 24,000 by waiting.
Yeah,
good job, Brent.
Exact same
yeah.
options and everything.
If you wonder what they were gonna do with that $24,000 last year, stick it in their pocket? Oh, what?
Nice vacation.
Yeah, things are tightening up.
does it reflect on here, because we still get a discount for being governmental, right?
It should be, I think it's with that source well and everything.
So that's where the bid come off of.
Yep.
Yeah, it's down at the very bottom, so it says. That affects us as well.
Okay. And then The 575 doesn't reflect the 30,000 they're gonna give us for.
No, but I got the letter right here when they came and gave me the appraisal. That's what they said they'd give us for one for the trade-in. That's an 05.
How's that compare with, do you see anything similar to what we've got to offer on any of the, like Purple Wave or any of the auctions and stuff like that?
I haven't really looked into it either. There's a lot, it seems like there's a lot of pavers out there for sale,
Okay.
so. I don't know if we got it.
We're not,
Damage view and damage done, I think.
just wondering what the likelihood we'd be doing better than the trade-in value if we auctioned it. So,
Yeah, you know, a lot of stuff that I do see in the auction, it's a lot newer. Yeah, don't really see the old stuff. I don't know if it. Due to parts, trying to find parts and stuff like that, or,
How good is this bid, Tim?
I guess.
go ahead.
Well, no, that's when they wrote it, because that was the May 27th, 2025.
There you go.
Guess I haven't known for sure on that, I got to find out for sure.
Can we wait until next meeting?
Yeah,
What I'm worried about is when we open those bids for Frog Creek Road,
yeah. Exactly,
so
yeah, that'd be good, definitely,
if that came in higher.
right.
A lot of hours on this paper.
Yeah.
What's the number?
I can't tell you right off the top, but there's quite a few hours.
Just wear items, you're talking the augers and the chains and
Yeah, right now, we're getting auger that we gotta work on before we start this season and stuff.
ever been replaced.
I know a couple of augers that, they've been bent, we've replaced them, you know, bent stuff back and done a lot of quick fixes and stuff like that, so it's just a matter of time before.
How old is it?
05.
20 years, 21.
How much mix you put out a year?
All depends on the budget.
500 ton, 1,000 ton, 2,000 ton. So we're not paving roads, we're patch repair.
Real patch, yeah, I mean, all depends on the price of material, the budget, and how much we do with this, but
Do we have them numbers anywhere?
not right off the top of my mind. Right
Give
here.
me something to keep track of.
Yeah. So. But yeah. Wait till next week or next meeting and find out.
Mostly bumps or Alligator Road, or what are we fixing?
The usual.
Wheel ruts?
Yeah.
Washouts on the river bottoms.
Then next year be, or this year be paving over once they get done with Frog Creek. We'll do the paving over that. Yeah. End date anywhere.
Probably should have a couple of weeks.
Yeah. There's a one, but.
They're usually good for 30 days. That's.
Yeah, I'll get a little plan out for sure.
We can,
Should be no issue.
I'll entertain a motion to table this till next meeting.
I'll move to table the paper discussion until the next meeting.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
The only thing I'd say is good questions from their constituents and bring the information back, so we're good and transparent. We can do that at the next meeting.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Post same sign, motion passes. Approve accounts payable and the payroll vouchers. Everybody get to see those?
Yeah.
Need a motion?
We'll get paid the bills.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Post same sign, motion passes. Nothing else on the agenda. We're good. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Post same sign, motion passes. We're adjourned. Thank you.